What's up, guys? This is Toddy Rap, or that one time I reincarnated as a podcaster. Today is a special episode. It's my birthday.
It is.
Yeah.
Birthday episode.
So we're gonna talk about my favorite movie of all
time. Feliz cumpleaños.
Oh, I thought it was Feliz Navidad.
Feliz Navidad?
Yeah.
No.
Navidad?
But it's not.
Navidad.
But we're not in Navidad.
Oh, shit, you're right.
It's cumpleaños.
I don't even know what's going on anymore.
Oh, that becomes so much better when you pronounce it that way.
I just heard anus. Happy anus.
Happy anus, my dude.
Happy anus equals a happy man, right?
Happy become anuses.
Are we all anuses? But today, I guess, nothing came out this week except for one thing. I guess
Thank
we'll talk
God.
about. Yeah.
Wait, what came out this?
The Witcher.
I mean, technically things came out this week, but I ain't gonna go.
Nothing good.
Yeah.
Nothing important.
Yeah, no, there you go. Nothing we want to talk about.
Yeah.
But so we decided to go back and watch the Mummy movies.
Yeah.
All the Mummy movies. The Scorpion King ones.
Whole franchise.
Okay, I watched, by that standard, I watched 85%.
The original Mummy movies.
Well, I'm in the same spot.
The Mummy.
The movie.
I'm probably. I think I missed 2 movies because there's a brand new Scorpion King I didn't know about. It came out.
Fuck, there's another one.
It came out 2018, 2019. It's like the 4 books or something.
Sounds like bullshit.
Yeah, because I found it and I was like, "What is this?" I'm like, "Oh, it's another. It's straight to DVD."
Oh,
I'm like,
aren't all of them straight? Aren't the last 3 straight to DVD?
I have no clue. All I know is I clicked on it and it's like, "Oh, this is straight to DVD."
The only one.
I'm not watching this.
I think the only one I remember being like in theaters was the first one with The Rock.
Yeah.
I think everything after that was straight to DVD.
I don't know. I don't want to talk about all the Scorpion Kings right now. It's either we start with the Scorpion Kings or we start with the originals.
The originals?
The originals. We can start from the beginning.
You're right, 2018.
Yeah. It's
on Netflix?
Well, fuck.
That's probably where I saw it. I was going to watch it, but I didn't have time. I ended up watching 16 other movies by the time I got to that one, and I'm like, oh, I don't want to watch it anymore.
I mean, it's 78% on Rotten Tomatoes. Don't look at the IMDb.
What is it, like a 2?
4.7.
I want to see what is that rating user? Most likely.
Or the 70 whatever?
78, yeah. Because I doubt, it's
yeah.
a user.
It is a critic one.
No critic reviews,
Damn,
not a surprise.
That bad.
So if you look up the other Scorpion Kings, there's no critic reviews either. There's
like the first
4.
one?
I think
the first one is, but the second and third have like 5.
They all go straight to DVD.
Do critics even watch straight to DVD movies to
I have
rate them?
No clue. I can tell you 5 of them did on the other ones.
So they're probably pretentious and they're like, you can't watch movies at home. You have to watch it. Theater.
Well, I mean, there has to be some critic that's just like, I'm going to watch shitty movies to rate it.
That's what we do.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't call it reviewers or
critics. One day we can be on the critic thing there.
Shit.
We'll figure out.
One day we'll be on IMDb and fucking Rotten Tomatoes.
The critic.
Hey.
You have to tweet every day for every movie.
I'm down for that. It's not like I watch 12 movies a week at this point.
Same. This whole week I work from home, so I get to watch more movies. Because at work, I only have access to HBO. And I'm like, I already watched all these fucking movies.
So I think that's the only issue with HBO. HBO is amazing because you can watch all the old movies, but they don't really put out new stuff. Unless it's
once a month.
Bi-weekly.
Yeah.
Isn't every other week?
Yeah, it's about every
other week. They put a new movie?
Yeah. About
it's
fortnight.
It's about that time.
I fucking hate the HBO shit because it says just added or whatever, right?
Yeah.
But it's not all of them.
No.
You have to go through the A through Z and
there's
some new ones.
Yeah. Or you end up watching one movie and then it's similar to this movie. I'm like, I've never seen this. What the fuck? This wasn't listed.
When did this game? Yeah. I've looked through that whole list 20 times. It has not been there.
HBO, fix your shit.
But anyway, so I guess we'll just start from the original movies. If I'll have Eddie start because it's his favorite movie.
Is it 1997?
No.
1990.
Like 1932.
So,
Fucking hits right here.
did you not watch all the Mummy movies?
I don't know. Watch a movie from 1932.
That's fine. I didn't watch that one either. I forgot about it.
We watched the other one from 1956.
It was on HBO. I typed in the Mummy and it popped up, and I'm like, I'm gonna watch this and then meme about it. But then Eddie called me. I'm like, Eddie, you should watch this movie. He's like, I'll watch it. I'm like, that's fine. Bob won't watch it.
And then I went and I watched the old one. The old one.
I don't want to find the old one.
It was kind of a pain.
HBO.
But I mean, so I've always been a fan of the original Universal monster movies. The Mummy is one of them. The Mummy itself is played by the great Boris Karloff.
Did they have the Monster Mash song?
Yes.
It was the monster
Whenever
mash.
the Mummy came out, he's fucking doing Thriller out there.
to the monster mash. No, but I mean, it's always crazy when you think of like that age of film, because it's funny because the Mummy in that film is Imhotep. Yeah, that is the Mummy in that movie, and it's funny because when we get to like the newer this one, it's interesting that that's what they pulled off of, because it's the same time period, it's that same like vibe, but it has that like creepy kind of uncanniness that those old monster movies have, even though they're all like super campy at the same time.
So is it the same characters?
No,
Same bad guy.
It's the same
it's the same Mummy.
Okay.
Yeah, but I mean the whole thing around it's a lot different. But I mean, it's like interesting to go back and to see some of those stuff and to see how they did certain things. It's obviously, it's not as crazy as like some of the CG fests we're gonna get with some of these movies. But but I mean, even with the practicality, and I mean, Boris Karloff just plays such a good monster. He's just so perfect. Like, you ever watch the original? No, why am I asking you?
There's a time where I'm just like, anything before this,
Anything
I'll
before-
watch it.
What year were you born?
No. Anything prior to 1975.
Wow,
I'll watch it.
75.
Why 75 where you cut it off?
I don't know. I feel like there's
I'd
a
say at
pocket
least-
of good movies between then and like
I think at least
the
70.
90s.
Because I think 69 and before it's not as good. Because I feel like 70s you start to hit all the good.
No, yeah, you start to get like the really.
You start to get budget for movies. And they all
What do you
filmed
mean?
in my backyard.
I mean, that's just like there's just something about the golden age of cinema. Just like back then, it has its own little.
It has a charm.
It has a charm. It has a
but
charm to it.
It's not
but-
something I would
No.
watch all the
No,
old
no.
movies and be like, these are all masterpieces. I'd be like, this one's good.
It
This
has
one's
to
super
scratch a
campy.
specific
Yeah.
itch.
I'm trying to
Yeah.
think if you've seen a movie from that time. You've seen The Wizard of Oz, right?
Sadly.
I've seen that movie like 1,000 times from school. It's probably the most watched movie at this point.
Disgusting.
It's okay.
I think at school here probably most watch movies Princess Bride, but
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, I like
Or Rudy.
I just loved Boris Karloff as Imhotep. But what I was saying, because I was asking, because Boris Karloff plays Frankenstein's monster in the old you think of like you think of Frankenstein's monster, the flat head and the bolts and the green skin.
You think of this guy?
That's Boris Karloff.
Yeah.
That was his. So I mean, it's interesting to see him play in one of those play another monster role at that time. I mean, he had the face, right?
Sorry, but I'm gonna cut you off for 2 seconds. We can do Frankenstein in October, and we can do Young Frankenstein.
That's a good movie.
What the fuck is Young Frankenstein?
You've never seen Young? Never mind. Okay, let's keep going. We'll talk about it later.
It's a very good movie.
Okay.
Has Gene Wilder in it.
Yeah, and the guy from
You're not gonna get him to watch a black and white movie, even if
not
it's
a
not.
black. No, I mean the newer one
Oh.
with what's his name? Is it
Oh, I don't know which one you're referring to now.
Okay, I'm gonna
Because
look it up.
because the one you're referring to is in black and white. I think.
Is it in black and white?
No, it might not be.
I don't remember.
I thought it was.
Wait, just keep going. I'll look it up.
It
right
might
now.
be. It's very like pale colors. I remember Young Frankenstein being that way, but it might be in color. It's just washed out. Or is it in black?
It's in
and
black and white.
Yeah, I remember right.
It's got these two in it.
That's old as hell, dude.
It's
No, it's not.
It's fucking
That's
Gene
Gene
Wilder
Wilder.
and the guy.
It's Willy Wonka, dude.
Old as hell.
Nah, this is new.
I'll watch it.
74. Damn it! It
No, damn it! This is cut off.
I'll allow it.
Anyway, sorry. I just thought about that.
It's like the fucking Doctor Strange meme now from the trailer. It's it's a little weird, but I'll allow it.
Damn spoilers for the trailer.
I mean, that thing's probably a bit of a meme now. It's just so perfect for a meme. But I mean, like I said, there's not much else to say. It's just like it hits those classic monster beats. I mean, it like, you know, you have the over exaggerated screams and the stuff with the monster.
They
And
have the still
he
show on their
moves.
face
He
like,
moves.
"Ah."
Yeah, he
of
moves
course.
slow and
So the second one, the one in 58,
56. Is it 58 or 56?
50 something.
It's on 50 something.
the 50s. It's so much different comparatively in my mind because the one in 58, basically, it starts off with these guys who find the mummy, like, you know, you always do. I don't know if he has a name. I know.
No, I think
he's a guardian.
Oh
of the
no,
queen.
he's the guardian. Yeah, the queen has a name, but I don't think his.
Guardian of the princess.
Yeah,
Sorry.
and his name's never mentioned.
Yeah.
Oh, Knocks on the Moon.
No.
Naxunamun.
So basically he gets dug out. Everyone, like, he's still alive or something, and because they read the Dead Scrolls.
Yeah.
And it brings him back to life, and they scare the shit out of these like two guys who were finding it, and then this. I'm trying to think of the Egyptian guy comes in and he starts speaking Egyptian to him and he just says, "I'll go back to sleep. I'll deal with this later." He goes back to sleep. The guy's, he takes the mummy to his place and he ends up using it to try to kill off all the people who were desecrating the tombs. So the zombie, the mummy, I'm going to say it 1,000 times. The mummy just fucking starts going on a rampage of killing certain people. And then he just falls in love with one person that looks like the old princess and starts to listen to her.
I mean, the cast is great. Yeah, fucking Grand Moff Tarkin.
Yeah.
I don't remember the actor's name, but he's Grand Moff Tarkin in my head.
I feel like
a younger version.
The movie is more campy, I think.
Oh, of course.
Than probably even the 20s.
Well, I mean, I feel like movies in the 50s were quite a bit more campy than they were in.
I almost feel like it's
30s.
going towards these mummies where like the first one's serious and this one just becomes that in between where it's serious and the comedy is really starting to pick up from the mummy stuff.
It's because you're hitting that serial period, right? Because the original monster movies kind of are like right before that.
Yeah.
But like once you start getting in the 40s and 50s is when you start hitting the adventure serial kind of like area.
Yeah.
Which is what pretty much any mummy thing or anything afterwards goes off of that.
Okay, so like, if scary movies were like that before, and we looked at them now and they're kind of funny, do you think if we were to bring someone from that era and watch one of our scary movies now, would they just shit themselves?
They'd probably shit themselves. I mean, think about it. It's like you watch the old Frankenstein. Well, I don't know. I mean, you watch Nosferatu. Nosferatu's fucking creepy in its own right, and that's an old movie from that time period. But I mean, I think what would. Well, I don't know, man. It depends what kind of horror movie you're showing them, right? But I also feel just like the advent of like special effects have come so far that a person from that time, I don't like now, our eye is trained, right?
Yeah.
To see, the bullshit in movies, right?
We've watched so many of them.
But you take someone from that time period, they're like, is this real? Did this fucking happen?
It's happening right now.
It's happening right now.
They just put in the beginning, was a real story. And you're like, oh, God.
Oh, God. Yeah, they shit themselves.
Yeah. So in this movie, it's funny. It's like it's got the old movie horror sound or music sound.
Yeah,
which is pretty good. But I always felt the funny thing was in this movie was the mummy himself, like his movement speed. There's parts where he's like walking, and then he's like, the bad guy need to kill. He's like fucking full sprinting. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, who gave this guy the run in this moment?
You know who the mummy is?
I don't even know who the mummy is now.
It's Christopher Lee.
Is it really?
Uh-huh.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Is this like his first movie?
I don't know. I mean, he's done movies for a while, right? And he's done monster movies. He's the second coming of Boris Karloff, right?
Pretty much.
in its own way. I mean, he never did Frankenstein, but he did probably one of the better versions of Dracula.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Christopher Lee's a boss. But I that's what I said. Like the cast had Christopher Lee and Grand Moff Tarkin. So
I think the other funny part was the first death when they kill like an older guy. So they snap his back like in Batman, like when Bane does it. But it's like so slow. He's like trying to like grab the guy. And he's like. We were like, was 10 seconds.
That's a slow back breaking. It's like watching one of those, like, I can't remember the YouTube channels, like the piston as it's like slowly crushing something.
We basically want to watch. You're like, he's gonna die, isn't he? He's still
gonna
alive.
It's like the fucking Deadpool scene with the steamroller with the Zamboni.
Yeah. Pretty much, but I don't really have much about.
I mean, this is a campy mummy movie.
I guess the ending was pretty interesting. So the ending, they're like blasting him with guns, and he's like in the river, and he's like dying, and he's like, he does the Terminator where he's got the dead scroll in his hand. And he's like going underwater. He lifts it up, and then he goes under. Oh and then literally as he goes under, credits roll. Like there's no like.
That's how it is.
Yeah, there's no like people talking at the end. Like it's just like credits. You're like, I feel like there should be like a little back and forth, being like, "We survived."
I think you know what's funny. It's like when you look at the time periods, right? And I'm thinking about like the black and white look of the original, and then you look in this Technicolor version of what the 1956 version is, and I think color. Kind of like I always felt like, especially in those ages, color kind of gives away a little bit of the illusion of what it is.
Yeah.
Because like when you watch this new movie, you're like, that's a set. I could tell that's a set.
I can see the screws.
or just like the background. I'm like, someone painted that. It's good, but someone definitely painted that.
Yeah.
This is definitely in a studio. This is not a jungle. There is no jungle that looks like this.
I think the movies were fine.
No, it's fine.
I mean, personally, I gave it like a 7. Like, it's an old monster movie.
Is that better than when you realize, like, hey, that's a green screen?
I don't know. I mean, like I said, there's a certain charm to those movies. When you think about, I mean, this is one of those things. Like when you think about like the effort that's placed into these films, or like the creative like ways you have to think about making a movie like this with the limited amount of resources you have. I mean, it's cool. It's like, I mean, old movies were basically just stage plays where they added some extra stuff because you got a camera, right?
I almost feel like the painted backgrounds are less campy than like the shitty ass CG that you're like, when they're in the car and you're like, like I don't know, but that background don't look like you're driving, my dude. It's like, give me the painted background. I'll deal with that.
Got a charm to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it for the old mummies, unless there's some in between.
Well, I mean, there's probably more because I think when I looked up that there's a lot more just random miscellaneous. Fuck, dude, what's on? Oh, I'm thinking of another movie I watched. I didn't watch it this week. Oh no, I just remembered another one right now. Fucking, there's an El Santo movie where he fights mummies.
Oh,
that's another old.
Yeah. I've seen that one. What? It's like a wrestler.
Yeah,
he fights mummies.
And El Santo is like a luchador.
Yeah.
So, but in Mexico, for like El Santo and the Blue Demon and all those people, they made these like old like serial movies where they were like the hero. So there's one with him fighting fucking werewolves and shit. There's one with him fighting mummies from like. Oh, what's the name of that place?
Chapultepec.
No, it wasn't. Was it Chapultepec?
I think so.
I thought it was from like some other, like from something in Puebla or something like that. I don't remember. I don't remember anymore. It's like the mummies from this place.
Producer fact check.
But there is a bunch of other like weird little campy mummy stuff. Those are just like what you would consider to be Guanajuato. Yeah.
Look at this shit, dude.
Like his mask is like almost a silver. Like what?
It is silver.
So weird in the picture though.
El Santo versus the Momias de Guanajuato.
They look like zombies, my dude.
That's the issue with all the mummies. That's why I say zombies 1,000 times because that's what I picture every time I see them walking. I'm like, they're zombies. You know, they're from Egypt. They're different.
They're from Egypt. They're different.
So if the zombie apocalypse starts in Egypt, would it be the mummy apocalypse?
For them? Yeah.
No, when it passes on, does it just keep as the mummy, or do they change the zombies? Like, is there like a border?
Is it the outfit?
Is that what makes it?
Or is it the time period?
Or is it the location?
Is Mummy the first zombie movie?
Probably.
Maybe.
Without saying
well, yes. Because, I mean, the first...
What's the first undead movie? I guess would be the...
Yeah, because, I mean, the first, like, zombie movie as we know it is Night of the Living Dead.
Yeah.
Is the George Romero movie.
What year was that, like? Because it was black and white.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
old. It's
It's
old.
old, yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty.
I guess
old.
the only thing would be because zombies. I guess the mummies do too. Because zombies transfer their sickness through bite or whatever.
Yeah.
Or whatever is saliva or whatever you want to say. But mummies, they don't really make more mummies. They normally just summon the undead.
Yeah,
again.
they summon more
I don't know,
mummies.
I disagree with the mummy we watched last night.
Oh my god, yeah. But
We'll get to that bullshit.
I guess he did kill him and then they did
Uh-huh,
transform.
yeah.
Never mind. Okay, never mind. Yeah, I guess I wouldn't know. Yeah. I guess if it's not transferred through bite and it's transferred through sucking your soul out and then you shrink, that's a mummy.
So if it's not transferred through bodily fluids, it's not a zombie.
Sure.
Sure.
I'm gonna say that right now. Definitive.
These are facts.
Definition right there. Set. Merriam-Webster, give me a call.
God.
But I mean, okay. Now
go to
we
the mummies.
get to this. We get to this thing. I mean, I personally love this movie.
I really like the first one.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I like the first one.
I really like the first one. It's one of those movies I watched as a kid. I just loved. It's like like not quite there. It's like off kilter from like where.
I remember
Indiana
watching
Jones
this
is
movie
for me.
as a kid, and I remember watching it now, and I'm like, I know why I'm scared of bugs, the undead people. This movie was fucked up for its time.
Well, what's so weird to me is like it's that weird counterbalance of like it being fucked up and it being like campy funny.
Yeah.
Right? It's just
But
really funny.
the fucked up scenes are really fucked up.
I know.
And the campiness is super campy.
Yeah, exactly. It just
It's
hits
not
these
like-
extremes. Yeah.
Because when the movie came out in 99, right?
Yeah.
So 93, I was what, fucking like 7, I guess. It's
Uh-huh.
a PG-13 movie, which
Uh-huh.
I didn't know until I had to look it up. I'm like, this movie's pretty fucked up. I remember seeing it in theaters. I'm like, I know now why I'm afraid of shit.
Oh, there's something about those bugs crawling into you.
Yeah.
That's why I think I hate bugs so much, because they're fucking. I was like, are these real? Can they go in you and just eat your flesh from the
I think
inside?
for me it was the eight-legged freaks. That was weird.
Oh,
Fox
okay.
spiders.
No, for me that was
Actually, no.
arachnophobia
Arachnophobia is fucking.
because
to
they're
me,
they're the little spiders.
Yeah. To me, eight-legged freaks was just funny.
Yeah.
In my mind as a kid, I just knew it was over the top for arachnophobia. It was like, no. No.
But this movie's great. I mean, it is like I do really appreciate that they went back to the like they decided to go balls deep into the serial style from like the time period to the aesthetic to like almost like the kind of the campiness of that age of film.
Yeah.
But still kind of trying to modernize it with like. I mean, it's the 90s, so, some extra little fucked up bits and pieces in there. Because you can, because there's technology.
Yeah. We have technology that no one wanted.
Yeah, we have the technology. But, I mean, I love the characters in this movie.
Yeah.
They're all great.
They're
and
all great.
They're all great. Even Emotep.
Oh
Yeah.
Favorite character.
Emotep.
He's best boy.
Now the best boy is the sister's brother. The one that has all
What
the
the
money.
fuck's wrong with you? Best boy is the helper to the Emotep.
All the. I was gonna say he's worst boy.
What are you talking? He's best boy.
I mean, I would say he's probably one of the best like villain sidekicks, like
He's
in a
dumb as
movie
shit,
like
yeah.
that. But I mean, it's like the dumb snivelingness of like what he is,
yeah.
but it's like the dedication of what that character is, right? Because it's just a guy who just doesn't like. Survival is his number one. With if he can get money on the side, that's his thing, right?
Survival money.
Fucking weasel.
He's
But
an asshole.
he's like the definition of that character.
But he
Yeah.
has the dumbest ending, I think.
Oh,
I'm just gonna jump through his character real quick. Because he dies at the end going back to try to save the other people. But he brings all the money in, which slows him down, which is why he dies.
He didn't try to save people. He goes back for more gold.
No. Because he never had any more gold. He brought the more gold with him, I thought.
No, so he took gold out.
Yeah.
Then he went back in to get more.
I thought he grabbed the bag.
Because he's holding. No, that's a separate bag.
That's
he's
a separate,
holding. Yeah,
I thought it
he's
was the same bag.
No,
that's
that-
why I
Got
was just like,
greedy.
yeah, he got
Oh,
greedy
okay.
because that's why there's like at the end of the movie
Yeah.
there's the bag with gold on the camel.
yeah.
That was his first bag because there's
Oh,
that
okay.
scene he puts the first
Yeah,
bag
yeah.
on and then he goes back to
Oh,
get
okay.
more and a second bag, and then that's how he dies.
It's so stupid though. He puts it down, and you know that one lever fucking makes everything explode. You're like, okay, sure.
That's how those tombs work, dude.
Yeah, not the trip wires that would have set off everything years ago.
Egyptians' big brain.
Yeah.
Well, maybe
someone's gonna steal from this exact spot, and they're gonna get tired. They're gonna put those things down.
But I mean, think about it. Think about it this way. What if that room was like a security room, right? You know, when you have security rooms and you have the button that does the bullshit.
Sure.
That's the button that does the bullshit. So there's like there's a guard in there, and they're like, the fucker's in there. Bam.
Yeah, but the button shouldn't be in a spot that you can't escape from.
Maybe he could. Maybe he's just stupid.
I don't know.
He didn't crawl fast enough when the thing was close.
Because if you think about it, right? If you think about it, if he wasn't trying to carry the gold, right? If someone was there, they could hit the button and they could get out. There was time to get out.
Yeah, but the time to imagine if the guy trips by accident trying to escape, he's dead. Any little flaw that you do, you're not escaping.
Also, other thing that's thinking about it, right? I mean, do the Egyptians really care if their guards made it out or not?
The Egyptians don't, but motherfucker, if I was the guard, I'm like, I'm not pulling that thing. I'm not gonna kill myself because someone's stealing.
But you don't. Stole it, you would get killed anyway.
But you don't have. But you don't have that mindset, right? Because your mindset is this guy that's in here is a literal god, so I'm gonna do whatever the fuck I need to for this guy.
You crushed the literal god.
No. Because I'm saying the person buried here is a literal god.
I know, but that's what I said. It's not like once you pull the handle, you're breaking the whole thing, which is going to damage the sarcophagus, which is going to injure the god to nothingness. Mm-hmm. So then you fucked up.
They're petty, dude.
Up.
They're petty, my man.
The other thing is at first when they opened it was a box and gas came out and it just fucking melted.
Yeah.
I was like, what the fuck is that?
It's like sulfuric acid or some shit. Yeah. They say what it is.
That's fucking gnarly.
Yeah.
I'm telling you,
it was like pressurized something gas.
If I saw that as a kid and then I went into archaeology or whatever, I'm like, I don't want to open that. What if I die?
That's why you have the diggers. You're like, hey, buddy, you want to see what's inside? You open it.
I'm going to go over there.
I mean, that's always the thing of not just the serial genre, but it was just because that time period, right, the late 1800s to the early 1900s, right, going up into World War I. I mean, there was that unknown, right, of what Egypt was, or later on what the Americas were and all that stuff.
I think everything's trapped.
Yeah. I mean, because in some cases there were certain traps to some of the things, right? Especially in a place like Egypt, where you're burying people with their likely fortune, right? Oof. And grave robbers were a problem in their time period as they would be from then onwards.
But most of the traps at that point were just basic.
Yeah, and most of the time too, they just, if by that time period, whatever time period, the shit would take place at, like these movies would, there's no way a trap would last that long with the materials.
They would either just fucking fallen apart and instantly damaged whatever was in there before they made it, or... Yeah. So it would just stop.
I think I can't remember. I was listening to a podcast, right? And they were talking about the design of stuff in those movies, and it, if you think about it, right? It's if there was a trap that lasted that long, you'd probably get more what's it called? There'd be more archaeological significance in studying the trap than there would be in anything that it's protecting, just for a trap to last that long.
Something mechanical.
Yeah, to last that long.
It's what do they use that to degrade after 2,000 years?
Aliens.
It's alien technology, yeah. I can't wait for the newest one when they push the lever and then the little fucking face hugger comes out and just sticks on you and you're like, what is this movie?
AVP.
Oh God.
But I don't know, man. It's I just love the things that this movie does. Even with its characters, because there is an interesting way to dive into the horror of what these places are. And I mean the scarabs is top tier.
Scarabs is probably the most fucked up thing.
Yeah,
in
it's
the movie.
the top tier. When you
and
first,
that's actually good CG too.
Yeah. Well, it's a little black thing that just has to scurry around.
Well, no, yeah, but
even the close up, yeah.
It's pretty good. It's the skin isn't discolored, weird looking. You're like, oh, that looks like it's in his goddamn body. You're like, oh.
Nightmare fuel, dude.
Pretty much.
I don't like scarabs.
I don't either. That's why I don't like bugs. This one movie, I'm pretty sure, is the reason why I don't like bugs.
Well, what I love too, like what I love about this movie is like the premise of this movie is like it's just so ridiculous at the same time,
Yeah.
right? I mean, like if you think about
Monster
like,
movie.
I know, no, obviously, but it's just like the idea of like what like the mummy's curse and everything is, because that's always like a theme that's just been forever, you know, since forever, like since people have been digging in those areas, right?
Yeah.
Like the curse of King Tut and all that you know, craziness. And I think it's funny in this movie. They're just like, yeah, we're gonna take this guy, you know, who killed the pharaoh, right? And we're gonna curse him, but his curse has this side effect where if he comes back, he's gonna fuck the world.
How does that make sense?
No, I love when they think about this. You're like, and they probably looked at each other like, is this worth it? And like, we ain't gonna be here. Yeah, it's worth it. Fuck this guy.
You gotta think about the trade. So, end of world. The guy suffers for 2,000 years. Fair trade.
Yeah, fair trade. They're like, yeah,
They fucking buried him alive.
with the bugs.
With a lot of scarabs.
After cutting off his tongue and whatever bullshit they
that's
did.
right, that's right.
Oh, the one to me, the fucked up thing is like how they mummified the other dudes alive. I was like,
That's what I want. Mummification on live bodies.
Do they still like cover them with like that juice or whatever to preserve them?
they don't have formaldehyde.
I'm sure they used to use something else.
No, I mean they did have like some embalming liquids, but
Yeah.
it's not the same as any chemical liquids we use now.
So,
If
like,
anything,
it wouldn't hurt if you were like, you go.
no, but that's not what you do because you understand how the process of mummification works, right?
You like take them out, like, you dig them out, right? Like, all
Well,
their organs,
yeah, you got to
and
take
then
all the organs out, and then you put
them
like
out.
it's like a salt-based solution, I think, or something like that. That's used to preserve the body, and then you wrap it, and then that and that's why when you look at a mummy, it's like the body's so well preserved.
Yeah.
Because of that. I mean, there's some cases I know. I think it was like in Peru, it's somewhere in South America, where they found mummies, and they were so tightly wrapped and pressurized that when they opened it, like the person was intact, and then the moment oxygen hit, they like immediately started to decay.
you mean just they
You're
turn
like,
to dust.
Yeah, pretty
Well,
much.
not fully, right? But it's crazy because when you open it, I mean, it's like there was like you could see the person for the most part. It's almost like it completely like stopped decay because it was airtight.
Yeah.
But then once air and bacteria hits it, it started doing its thing. But like that's the same thing. So imagine these people, right? So they're it's like a Saw movie for them. It's like Hostel. That's what these people went through.
I mean, I did like the little. Like when the mummy came back and they're like, oh, I gotta get my organs and body functions back, so I'm gonna take them from living people. I'm like,
Yep.
oh,
I
that's-
thought that was a
Uh-huh.
good touch.
yeah.
Takes his eyes and you're like, oh damn.
I still,
His
I,
tongue.
yeah.
yeah, I still feel like the creepiest shot of Imhotep is the one where he's like white, like the pale one where like half his face is
Yeah.
missing
Oh,
when he
yeah,
looks
yeah.
around. I'm like this shot
I
right
just
here.
never felt like he was creepy, but he was never like I was never scared of him.
Yeah.
I was scared of everything else in this goddamn movie. But I was just like, he's just a bad guy. I don't give a shit. He's not freaking me out like everything else in this movie
What
is.
the fuck was up with the mummies he brought back that were like Spider-Man?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
the guards.
The guards?
guards, yeah.
Yeah. I forgot about that. For a second. I'm like, Spider-Man.
Motherfuckers were just crawling the walls like the
Yeah,
fuck
fucking-
how?
They're also like heavy as shit because they walked over his car and it damaged the
Oh,
fuck
yeah,
out of
yeah.
it.
Oh, in the next film.
Is that the second one?
That's the second
Oh,
one.
okay.
Oh.
Because they only appear at the end of the first one.
Yeah.
Because what's his face? The brother summons them,
Yeah.
and then they come out and they're like, yeah. And then
Yeah,
the
he's like,
mummy's like,
I'm
I'm
gonna-
gonna control these fuckers. And it's funny because it's only for the one scene. Like
Oh,
when
yeah,
he's
yeah.
running down the stairs,
Yeah.
that's when you see him crawling on the wall.
So that also makes no sense to me. So he summons the
Yeah.
guards to come out. The guards that are guarding the mummy, that either they're guarding it from leaving,
yeah,
or they're guarding it to kill it. So if it comes back, they would kill it.
sure.
That's in my mind what the guards were meant for.
I mean,
not
sure.
to turn
Well,
the opposite fucking direction.
here's the question, right? Okay, we're gonna put it into modern terms, right? So
Sure.
let's say these undead were programmed to do a thing, right?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Imhotep
hacked
is like a hacker
Oh, he just said words. He's not even a hacker.
because
Wasn't he like
the
a
magic is hacking.
Wasn't he a
Stupid.
sorcerer or something like that?
Yeah,
Like a
he's a high
priest?
priest.
Yeah.
He's got magic.
He got
But
voodoo magic.
He got voodoo
It's
magic.
still being like, your job is to kill this thing if it comes back to life, or stop anyone that does.
I don't think
Comes back to life,
I don't
and
think
it's
they're-
like, never mind.
But the problem is the way it's set up. I don't think they're pre-programmed to do a thing, right? Because the way the movie sets it up, right?
Sure.
Like the brother summons them,
yeah,
right? And they tell him he has to finish the incantation for him to control him, right?
sure.
So Imhotep finishes the incantation basically for him
Well,
because
he
I think
doesn't,
they're
because if he did, then the other guy wouldn't be able to control him. Because then he would just
Well,
be like,
'cause
he
he-
would say the same thing again, and then
he uses his own Trojan horse, dude, his own malware. He introduces his own line of
no,
code.
because if he said, if the other guy finishes it
yeah.
at some point, and they turn against him, right?
Yeah, well-
so if he
well-
said the same thing again, would just
No,
turn it
it's
back.
different. That's what I'm saying. Is its own specific malware,
wait,
that's
and
stupid.
then there's a
Well,
master code that goes over it.
There was no purpose to those guards, right? Because if he came back to life, then the guards would also have to come back to life to kill him back,
Yes.
right? But that never happened until the brothers summoned them. So
Yeah.
they were useless guards.
Yeah.
I think they're just things to be there.
Yeah, pretty
They
much.
just kind of died.
They're like robots in
To
sci-fi
me-
movies.
To me, in my mind, if they were summoned, they should just kill everything. Like, no one should be, like, controlling them.
fucking free for
Yeah.
Yeah, basically.
Battle Royale up in here.
kill each other.
They should have been summoned, and they're like, oh, we're alive. And there's people that shouldn't be in here, and the god that shouldn't be alive. Just fucking kill everything. Fuck it, and we'll go back to sleep.
Scorched earth. Let's go.
Basically. That's in my mind what they should have done. But no, they're like, I'm being controlled by the guy that we're supposed to stop.
Dude, what the fuck
fuck
was
you.
the black liquid? Was it hell? Was it some
Oh,
sort of like
the
death
thing that
pool?
when he dies and goes into
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, because they were trying to bring
Anatsuna moon.
back into the one girl's
I don't
body.
know what that was. Fucking syrup? I don't know.
Mercury.
Aunt
Oh wait, different
Jemima's,
movie.
like-
Oh shit!
It's Aunt Jemima's. That's what I'm pretty sure it was.
I don't know, man. It's
I'll
just
call it that anymore.
it's black.
Now?
No, it's still called that.
Oh,
It just
really?
doesn't have the logo.
Yeah, it just doesn't have the
Oh,
logo,
okay.
but it's just voodoo liquid, dude. It's voodoo liquid.
It's like imagine you're an archaeologist and you find this voodoo liquid. I'm like, what the fuck is this?
And faces start appearing. We're
Yeah.
like, we're just gonna.
Just look.
We're just gonna.
Pour cement over.
Yeah.
I think that there's one scene that I do want to say that I liked. I thought was interesting. Obviously, wouldn't be real. Was when they move the mirrors and it lights up the whole room.
Oh,
I'm like, that's cool. That's not real. There's no way you fucking do that.
No, not like that. But I mean, some of those
Well,
tombs did have stuff like
yeah,
that.
but it wouldn't be that bright.
No, it was no. It
And
was
then
no.
you'd also have to move the one up top every so often when the sun moves to keep the angle
Oh, yeah,
perfectly.
yeah.
Well,
They just
the-
set it
I
up
mean,
and you're like, it's
I-
fine.
Well, I mean the way it's set up, right? I don't even think you can change the angle, right? Like because the sun is funneled through a beam.
Oh, that's what
right?
it was, yeah. Well,
So-
they could move the one.
No. I know. But what I mean is, if the sun is funneled through a beam, right?
Yeah, it would only
Like
be a certain
the-
amount of time.
Yeah,
that you'd
the sun
have,
can
yeah.
only do.
You'd have like an hour.
There's
if
no way
that.
like you wouldn't even have to move the mirror. That's
Yeah.
it. Just stays in that position.
Yeah, I just thought that was really cool.
It's
for
cool.
what
It's
it
it's a
was.
dope effect.
Yeah.
I like that scene where the one guy, when the mummy shows up and he's like with the cross, like another religion,
Oh.
another religion.
And then
Knew all the
until he
languages.
brings out the Star of David.
Yeah, he was like, I know that really.
I know that one.
You can help me out.
I mean, there's debate whether there was Jewish slaves in Egypt anyway.
Well, yeah,
But-
of course.
but-
Are you telling me the
Tell
Prince
me
of
this-
Egypt is not real?
You tell me this mummy movie isn't real?
Nah, I mean it's
Oh
not, but
my
but I
God.
mean it's like some of the things like the stretches and places, right? Because Imhotep was a real person.
What, you're telling me movies are stretches?
Yes.
Oh my, you're blowing my mind today.
yes.
Bring his shelf right there.
Bring his shelf life. I don't know. It's always appreciative when like any form of film does like a little bit of the legwork. But I mean, it doesn't matter in the end, right? It's the same story.
It's
just
a movie.
It's just
I don't
interesting.
care.
What was the purpose of the Black Riders?
The Magi?
Yeah, they were supposed to like.
Oh, they're supposed to keep
Like-
the tomb from being
Yeah.
ransacked and bring
Well,
back the fucking.
They did a shitty job.
Of
Yes.
course they did. Dude, they've been defending it for 2,000 years and no one could find it. And now they find it and they're like, oh, we got to do our job.
Oh my
Man,
god.
Medjai's a
Garbage.
great guy though.
He was a great guy. Great
Yep.
side main character.
I didn't realize who he was until the second movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm like, I know this actor. Where have I seen him before?
By the time you saw him in the second one, you should have been like, yeah, I know where he's from. The Mummy 1.
What-
That's where I saw him.
That's how I always knew him as the guy in the movie one.
God.
The Medjai guy.
The main magic.
I rated it like an 8. The
Yeah,
first one.
That's where I
Because
yeah.
it's good,
Yeah.
but there's a lot of flaws. Like the CG
Of course.
obviously wasn't
I
good.
think it
but-
held up pretty okay.
Yeah.
I feel the second one has shittier CGI than
Yeah.
the first one.
Yeah, you'll see my scores go like this. It's not like a gradual. It's like,
But I mean, like, it's like that first one I think is really good for what it is.
yeah.
It sets up that tone for like that swashbuckling adventure kind of movie that you'll see in like later, well, not later films in this franchise, but later films like period. Like
I think this is a good one-off movie.
Yeah.
They should just end it right where
Yep.
it was,
They
and we
should
could
end
have
it.
just fucking walked away and been happy.
because I'm like this movie reminds me a lot of like how the first Pirates of the Caribbean was.
Yeah.
It's that same. There's the little bit of the
That's another
fucked
cool one.
up. There's some undead. There's the swashbuckling adventure.
And
there's
yeah,
the
we
funniness
still
and the
got 6
epicness.
of goddamn movies.
Yep. Same
Some,
thing.
some would say not enough. 'Cause I'd argue those are way better.
they are better. They're quite a bit better.
I did hate how they did one of the, what's that jungle whatever ride from
Jungle
Disney?
Cruise?
Yeah, they made a fucking movie.
I know they
Yeah.
did.
I was like, what?
They're making all their fucking
With
rides movies.
with The Rock.
Yeah.
Which, speaking of,
I'm pretty sure this is the first movie. I'm gonna look it up right now. At least that I remember seeing.
Were you
The
seen
Rock.
The Rock?
I don't-
Same.
I don't remember
I
seeing. him
think
in
it is the
anything
first
else.
movie. No,
Yeah.
because I truly believe that his first major role was the Scorpion King.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, because I don't remember. Yeah, don't remember seeing him before. I mean, he didn't have any lines.
Because in the movie, because in this movie, he's still like, I think in his casting, he's still The Rock.
He's still
Yeah.
in his WWE prime.
WWF,
Oh,
motherfucker.
Where he's small as shit. Look,
When-
I think at that
I
time
can't-
I could have fought.
I
The
can't
Rock.
remember when they made the shit between WF and WE.
I
But
don't remember.
this is probably
On
out of
IMDb at
WBF.
Dwayne and The Rock.
Yeah.
I'm gonna look at Dwayne because I'm gonna guess it's just all.
How do you know The Rock isn't like about the movie The Rock?
It could be. It probably is actually.
1996
Yeah, it
when the
is.
second one come out.
That's with it's Michael Bay, Sean Connery, Nicolas Cage is in it.
Yeah.
Ed
Have you
Harris
guys,
and
have you
John
guys never seen The Rock?
I've seen The Rock.
Could you smell what he was cooking?
Yeah, that's like, I don't want to go there.
Did you feel
Almost
the
there.
people's elbow?
Dude, he's been in 84 movies.
The Rock?
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's actor in 84, let alone producer.
Is it all like the Fast and
Okay, so
Furious?
that's TV,
He's only in, like, the last couple.
WrestleMania. I guess WrestleMania is all in here, so that's gonna really.
fucking,
know.
fucking cheating.
Yes,
Okay,
geez.
so
He's acting though.
I get it. Okay, yeah.
If you want to acting wise, his first thing he acted in, he was in the 70s show in one episode.
It was?
He was in The Net, which I don't remember.
Sure.
Sure, dude.
He's in Star Trek Voyager.
What?
And then the first movie, he's The Mummy Returns. the
Yep.
Scorpion
Yep.
King. And then he was in The Long Shot. He was a mugger.
Interesting.
Godsmack, I Stand
The
Alone.
Long Shot, like the football movie? No, that's Longest Yard.
That's Longest Yard. It's different.
Scorpion King, I guess, would be his
Yeah,
first
the
major
Scorpion King was his
movie.
first major role. That's what I thought.
Wow.
That's how I remembered it.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, in this movie, in The Mummy Returns, right? I mean, it's not like he's an actor. I mean, he's a CG model.
He was an actor the first 5 minutes.
Oh
I
yeah,
mean,
at
he
the very
didn't say
beginning.
anything.
Yeah, at the very beginning,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, he just buff dude that kicks shit, kicks ass. And you're like,
I didn't
"Oh."
understand his deal though. So he made a deal with that Anubis, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like, hey, if you lend me your fucking dead army, I'll give you my soul.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he got the dead army.
I feel like that's a good
They
trade.
didn't even conquer the one city they were in because the Anubis are like, yeah, you know what? I'm gonna take my army back. And then he fucking
Yeah.
died.
I'd argue that, that's not a fair trade. A whole army for one soul? Like, not a good trade deal.
Well, I mean, I don't know, right? There's just probably like a stipulation in the fine print, right? Where Anubis is like, I forgot to mention you have them for 1 hour.
That's pretty fair. An hour.
First 40 minutes was just them talking about what's going to happen.
Yeah.
charge! Oh, we gotta go on break. Fucking
That's it.
Over.
That's what one saw got you.
That's a fair trade. 1 hour. I'll take the deal.
Anubis is like,
He fucked it. But God, the first scene's not bad.
yeah.
He was like,
It's
this
a
is
pretty good
probably,
setup.
You're like, oh, I guess if they're doing another Mummy movie, I guess you're going to have to do something like this.
Yeah,
And
something
you're
different,
like,
something extra.
yeah. I'm like, this is cool. A little backstory the backstory beforehand was interesting.
I think the worst thing they added to this movie for me was the fucking kid.
I feel that way about a
The kid
lot
was
of movies.
Such a fucking waste of
Fuck
time.
the kid.
I feel like that way about a lot of movies.
Oh, I put it. The Mummy Returns before The Rock was a boulder.
I'm like, there's no way. How old is that fucking kid? Like 6?
No, he's
No.
probably like 9.
Yeah, that's what I
9 or
was
10.
Fucking 9 years from the first movie. That one?
At
Yeah.
least, yeah. She
Yeah,
looks
at least.
totally different from the first movie to the second movie. Like her looks.
Uh-huh.
I was like, is this a different actress? And
She
I
still
Googled
looks
it.
fine, though.
Oh, yeah. I Googled it. I'm like, oh, it's the same person. She's just different hair color, different style.
Good old Rachel Weisz.
Yeah.
She still looks the same.
She
I
does.
looked her up earlier this week.
Did she not gain 1,000 pounds like
No,
the
she
other
looks
actor?
the same.
Weird.
Even though she's like 50 something, I'm like, damn, okay.
So in this movie when she died and came back to life.
Yeah.
That's what happened.
That's what happened.
Infinity. This was a real movie. It actually happened. She died.
She became immortal.
She became immortal.
She also sold her soul to a newbie.
A doobie?
Anubis.
Hi, Anubi. How you doing?
That's not name my cat.
Oh, God. But as you were talking about the kid, they're such bad parents.
The terrible parent.
They're like, yeah, you go touch the thing that's 30,000 years old and put it on your fucking
This
wrist.
is a fucking fuckhead, dude. Like, hey, don't touch it. Don't play with it. I'm gonna touch it.
Well, that's a kid.
Oh, shit. It attached to my wrist. I'm not gonna tell my parents.
Well, that's fucked up. I'm saying the kid, it makes sense the kid's going to touch the thing because if I was a kid, I'd probably be like, what's in the box?
What's in the box?
What's in the box?
But I don't think I'm going to be that kid be like, that looks like a fucking wristwatch. I'm going to put it on. Fucking, this movie, he became Ben 10.
He did.
Ben 10's original movie.
Egyptian Ben.
I'm just. Did you guys ever watch the Mummy animated series?
There was an animated
I
series.
didn't know that.
Yeah.
If I knew that, I would have watched it too. It'd probably been better than the other
No.
shit I watched.
Oh, you didn't know?
No, I didn't
No.
know.
Sounds like ass in my mind, probably.
It was okay.
They come out at the same time. Fucking Jackie Chan's
That's
Adventure.
what I was saying. It's
It
probably
has that look.
Yeah.
It does. It does
it's
have.
probably
It,
the same
I might have seen
yeah,
it.
it has that look, but it's like from like Mummy Returns era. Yeah.
God.
I just remember there's an episode they met Einstein.
That's probably why they
I don't
put the
remember,
kid
dude. Yeah. there's-
That's probably why they put the kid in, because they're like, we can do
For a
an
younger
animated
child.
series.
Ooh.
I think this
I
is
honestly-
PG too.
Yeah, I honestly think the animated series is probably better than what this movie is, because
Yeah, probably.
animation.
It's pro-
There's animation in this.
you are not wrong.
He right.
I forgot.
You are
The Rock's in the movie a lot.
You are
He's in the beginning
technically-
and the end.
You're technically correct.
Oh God.
But I mean, this movie obviously they had to be bigger, right? It had to be more extra. It had to be more.
They had
like,
money
Nah, dude,
from the other
I think
movie.
They got so greedy, like, hey, we're gonna make this movie so we can appeal to a bigger audience
Yeah.
to sell more shit, and then it just did terrible.
I agree with
they
that.
probably did okay.
I
Well,
mean,
it
I
did
liked the
good.
movie as
Yeah.
a kid.
Yeah.
And I watched it, and I'm like, wait a minute.
Well, that's what I said. I remember watching 1 and 2 and really liking them as a kid. Well,
'Cause
being
I-
scared shitless and really liking them.
Like I don't feel this movie's anywhere near as fucked up as the first one was.
No, there's a few fucked up scenes because I think I have.
I mean, the
like,
bugs are still there, right?
The first one, this is the one where the scarabs actually go when they first unlock the mummy and it goes through the guy's body.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
scene, I was like, this is fucked up. And then that was about it.
When they first bring Emotep.
And he comes back for the second time or
think-
third time.
I think what scared me as a kid was when they bring the monkey mummies.
Oh, the monkeys,
the little ones.
Yeah.
the pygmies,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought they were just weird. I didn't think about them too much, but I was
the
like,
fucking pygmies.
Pygmies was such a weird scene. It was like, why are they here?
There's like there's the fancy airship in this fucking movie, and then there's
Fucking, to me, when I saw the airship, it reminded me of the one animated show with the fucking airship.
Headbender?
What? No, that was older. I can't remember, but it just made me remind me of that, and I was just like, why'd they put this on?
DuckTales? No, I'm just kidding. There's an airplane in that one.
How they
Yeah,
bring
something with
Imhotep
gold.
back to life?
Imhotep?
Because in the first one, they took his soul, right?
No, they took his immortality.
Yeah, it took his
So
immortality.
they cursed him to be immortal.
And then they stabbed him, and then he went back in the goo, and
Yeah.
Aunt Jemima's fucking syrup.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Her special voodoo brew.
He got lost in the sauce.
Her special voodoo brew.
Yeah, and then fucking the second one, they bring him back again with the fucking another scroll that, you know, are
Who
just
brought him
laying
back to
around.
life?
Anaxunamun.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
right.
The fucking reincarnation
reincarnation.
of Anaxunamun.
Fuck this movie.
That's what he fucking said the whole movie.
The whole fucking movie.
And then they made
One
Rachel
line.
Weisz Nefertiti.
Yeah.
Nefertiti?
Nefertiti.
Yeah.
Titty.
Titty? Yeah.
Titties.
Titty.
Nefertiti.
Nefertiti, okay.
She didn't have big titties, but, you know, it works.
Flat. It's just
Nefertiti, that's what this movie is.
never.
Unlike the first film.
You right.
But I mean, it's just interesting, like the weird things that they did in this film. I mean, it does feel more like a family romp than the first one does.
I think
Oh,
it's
yeah.
PG. I'm not gonna look it up.
Is the
but
first
I'm
one
gonna
like
say
PG-13?
Yeah.
It is.
Oh, okay.
Because I had to look it up. I'm like, these scenes are brutal. I'm like, oh, it's PG-13. Okay, that makes sense. Why did my parents take me this in theaters? What the fuck?
I mean, I like the story of like he's trying to like, resuscitate.
Resuscitate his wife
his
for
girl.
the fourth time.
The fourth time. I mean,
Like,
that's always been the arc,
Yeah,
right? That's
this is
the whole reason any of this is happening is because
Even the old mummies, that's what it is. It's protecting the old girl. It's like, fuck off. Sick of the same story.
Over after 2,000 years.
I'm not technically with her, but I will be now.
is
after
it 2,000 years if you died and then got brought back later? Is that just like a few seconds?
Ooh.
Do you think you would notice? Like if you died for the second time?
But if he was immortal, then he would just be like, damn, in this fucking box. I don't know how long. I can't see anymore because I don't have eyes.
But I don't know if
alive.
I thought the immortality came as a byproduct of the curse.
Yeah.
So he
Oh.
dies, and if he were to be brought back,
to life,
it's
yeah.
the
Who the fuck will bring him back to life?
it's the fucking, it's like when you listen to like an ad for like a medicine and it has all the
Oh
side effects.
my
That's one of the side effects.
Okay. I do want to complain about the first one a little bit more. As you said, who would bring him back?
Yeah.
Why is there a fucking book in the same chamber that has the spell to bring someone back?
Why was there a book in the first place?
Like
Well,
that's
I mean,
fine.
that's
you can
normal.
Bring back
That-
good people, maybe like useful gods or
Yeah.
something.
Well,
Why have it in the same fucking place that the shitty guy is? It's
I
like,
like how there's like
Well,
a
I'm
book of
gonna put it
life.
here.
well, the thing
and
is,
a
well,
book of death.
yeah, well, the thing is, they got both books, right?
but the Book of Life, which is the one that brings people back, right? Or
No.
No, that one kills them.
Yeah, sorry. The Book of Death is like in the open. The Book of Life is like hidden in a chamber that's fucking covered by 3,000 things. You have to break something open.
Well, they were both hidden because the one, the Book of Death was also in a box, wasn't it? Like hidden.
it wasn't like a-
it was the box with the gas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like a normal box. The fucking other one was in a pillar underneath a statue.
Wasn't the other one in a pillar?
No, I thought it was just like
No, the
fucking-
box was in a pillar.
Was it? I
Yeah.
thought it was just like in the open-ish.
Yeah, because one of the box was under the feet of Anubis, right in the pillar, and then
Yeah.
the other one's under like another statue. But they're both like in they're both in statues.
Because there was some dead person there with their their riches, and there was another box with the book inside, where they happened to open, and then
Yeah.
the people died.
Yeah. So they're both in boxes. They were just under
Okay.
different statues.
Statues.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be in the fucking same place. Put them in two different tombs at least.
Across the
Yeah.
country.
No, they,
Well, maybe they still needed the books for shit, right? Because I mean, they
For
put
what?
they put Imhotep in there. That doesn't mean he's the last person they buried in
I
there.
don't know. They killed the king, so and then
it's
made
the
it,
last
they're like,
person
"Oh,
they
what
buried.
do we
Who
do?"
else did they bury in there?
I don't know.
They
More
pulled no one out.
pharaohs. More pharaohs.
You don't serve the same fucking tomb to different pharaohs. That's fucked up.
That's the whole point of that place. It's called the City of the Dead. It's where you put all the pharaohs.
Yeah, but you put them in different fucking things. It's like saying each pyramid has 16 fucking pharaohs in it.
Wait,
They're
why
one
would you
pyramid, one
put
pharaoh.
I mean that the only reason they never found King Tut is because he was like a little added annex to a bigger tomb. So
Yeah, because he died as a kid. No one gave a shit about him.
Wait, so why would they bury this high priest with all the pharaohs?
because that's where they have all the magic voodoo.
Yeah, why? Why the bad one with the good ones?
Why don't you just throw him in the fucking Nile River?
Yeah, throw him fucking in the other Aunt Jemima's fucking tomb down the street. Fuck, man.
Because they did their pros and cons, and it's like we're gonna go through with this curse, and we're gonna do it here.
There's no pros.
I changed my mind. Egyptians, no big brain.
No, small brain.
Small brain.
Big peepees with small brain.
Big pee small brain.
Maybe they were just big gamblers. They're like, 1-5, he ain't coming back in our lifetime.
I'll bet you all my riches.
God.
Jesus. I mean, he didn't lose the bet. If he
He
did.
didn't come back in his lifetime. He did good.
He did real good.
Now the question is, if he got brought back,
Uh-huh.
he would have lost because that's his lifetime now. So he'd have to give all his riches back to the guy. It's like, shit.
Damn it! Why am I back?
Fucking garbage.
How many archaeologists can read hieroglyphs, though?
Fair amount.
For a man?
I mean, I think ancient
Probably, like,
Egypt and
learning the
hieroglyphs is
language at a
like
certain point.
it's one of those things that it's been around for so long.
Uh-huh.
If you think about it, the Rosetta Stone came. I know, right? Rosetta Stone. But the Rosetta Stone was found in the Napoleonic era.
Yeah.
I mean, it's found by Napoleon's army, so it's been around for quite a bit.
Yeah.
And it's that like unlike some of the other civilizations that are lost in jungles, the one in the desert is not that hard to stumble across.
Because like the girl just like, oh, yeah, I'm super proficient in hieroglyph. Let me just read this.
Well, there's people that
chant.
can do that.
Well, yeah. But I think it's also a little mix where I don't like this part of the movie is where she has like flashbacks to her old self.
Oh, in the second one,
which
yeah.
Which probably helps her too. It's like, I can read this as my second language, technically. It's like, oh my God, fuck off. Fuck off with this bullshit.
Well, because I mean, technically in the first one, you just chalk it up to okay, this is a person that just studied this.
Yeah.
They they can
It's
read
like
it because that's
studying
what.
a language
Yeah,
at
exactly.
some point.
So were they sisters?
I don't know.
I don't remember.
Like, they never explain, because she's technically supposedly a descendant, I guess. Is what it
like-
seems
No,
like.
I think they are sisters.
They are sisters, right? Yeah.
No,
No, they're not, because one wanted to fuck the other person, so...
no.
Like,
Okay,
legitly.
so, because I think Nefertiti is like the daughter of the pharaoh,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And then the other one is like
Princess.
the concubine of the
Yeah.
pharaoh
Oh, yeah, yeah.
or wife. I don't know.
I don't know.
All
All I know...
wanted to fuck the high
Yeah.
priest.
Yes, she
Yeah.
wanted to fuck the high priest.
Yeah.
So the high priest killed the pharaoh. So the princess is like, nah, fuck you.
And she saw it from outside her window. He was
Oh,
like,
I was like, that was bullshit, dude. Also, I like how she's all painted,
Yeah.
and he grabs her by the arm and he's like,
Like,
smudges.
smudges.
She's like, who touched you?
I've been like, oh, I was itchy. I scratched. She's like, oh, how'd you know?
How'd you know I was cheating on you?
It's like, that's fucking stupid.
Nah, dude, they were looking for an excuse to kill him.
Yeah, but if she didn't say anything, it would
Why'd she kill herself then?
I would have been like those fat dudes over there.
Because they were going to do the
protect
same
me.
thing to her what they did to Imhotep.
All I know,
Yeah.
it wasn't me, bro. It was him. It was him all along.
Well, I would have
Bring
pointed
you back.
Yeah, I would have pointed out like one of the high priests that were in there, fucking like closing the door to keep it closed. But yeah, it's one of that fat guy right there.
That one.
He touched me.
Okay, so there was, there was the Pharaoh's army that came in and killed her, right?
Yes.
Well,
Yeah.
took her body because she killed herself.
yes.
But there was other people that took Imhotep somewhere else. Who
Yes.
the fuck were they? His like little
Magi.
like lackeys.
They were his, yeah,
They're the Magi.
yeah,
Yeah.
his priests basically.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They're trying to protect him.
yeah.
Okay. I'm like, who the fuck are these?
Yeah.
And why are they taking him when the Pharaoh army is coming?
It's just, it's like having two rulers basically, because you have the pharaoh, then you had him basically like a step down, and then he had his lackeys.
Uh-huh.
That scene reminded me of an anime. You know when they're always yelling someone's name.
Mm-hmm.
He's just like, Imhotep.
So I also wrote something down I don't understand. I like how the pharaoh becomes Darth Vader. I don't remember him becoming Darth Vader anymore since I've seen so many.
Wait, what?
It's probably because he was like breathing heavily, like half of the movie. He's like, and you're like, what the fuck?
Who?
The pharaoh, or not the pharaoh? The
Imhotep? Oh,
Because like when I think when he first came back or something, I don't remember. I just wrote it down thinking I'd remember, but
Oh.
I watched
Too many movies.
4 more movies after this one.
Okay. Yeah, but okay.
Oh, we should finish off with the at least the ending
Yeah,
about
fuck the
this
kid.
one.
CG Rock?
CG Rock.
CG Scorpion Rock?
This is actually not the worst CG through all the movies. You haven't seen the other one. I can tell you. It gets worse. CG Rock is really bad, but it's not the worst. I give it a 6.
This movie? I can see that.
Yeah.
It's pretty bad. It's really bad.
6.5.
Yeah,
But the kid.
Nostalgia is
But the
like,
kid.
fuck the kid.
It brings
Worst
it down.
character.
Yeah, it brings it down so much.
He can also read Egyptian, apparently.
You know, when
your
when your
parents fucking read it.
when your parents are
When
yelling.
parent.
No, when
True
your parents
parent.
No, it's like you know when your parents are yelling at each other, like
In
know,
hieroglyphs?
hieroglyphs. We start picking up the language. You're like, they're arguing. I understand.
The joke I like though that they brought back is like in the first one he's trying to remember he can't
Oh,
read
yeah,
one
yeah.
symbol or
He's
whatever.
like, I know what that
And the
is.
second one's like, I know that one.
That made me laugh.
Yeah.
I was like, that's
"Ah,
funny.
The
That's,
callback.
that's a good callback.
The callback.
Not like the other
Doesn't help
callback
the movie.
in the other fucking shitty movie.
We'll get to that one.
Okay.
We'll get to that one.
Which one?
The one we watched last night.
Oh, okay.
The reference.
I don't know if
Shittiest reference.
so. I guess we go on to the third one. I didn't watch it. I forgot.
I haven't watched it recently
So
because I know you guys didn't watch it. So like I
So,
went.
The third one,
Yeah.
it's in China.
Yeah, I know
It has
that.
Jet Li.
It has
I know.
Jet Li.
I know
Has the
that.
mummy.
I remember because you brought up because I have a little terracotta soldier in my room. He's like, oh yeah, this is from the Mummy 3. I'm like, dude, you just brought the whole movie back to my mind. I totally forgot.
I just remember there's no more Rachel Weisz.
No,
Yeah.
sadly.
Sadly.
Some new chick that makes
Yeah.
no sense.
But
No,
it's still
it's the same character.
character.
Oh, that is
Yeah.
They just recasted her. I was like, oh my god.
She knew. She's like, this is gonna be a bad
they
movie.
pulled a Dark Knight
Yeah,
where they
Oh,
recast
yeah.
the character.
because all I can remember,
Rachel.
because all I can remember from this movie was the terracotta soldiers come to life at one point and
Yeah.
start
Yeah.
wrecking havoc.
Because the Dragon Emperor resurrects him. Because those are his lackeys.
And that's all I remember. That's all I remember.
Yeah, I
from
don't
that
remember a lot
movie.
of this movie.
Forgettable movie.
Yeah, it was very
4 out
forgettable.
of 10.
Yep.
4 out of 10. So
4 out of 10.
it's gotten 2
Isn't the
points
son like
down for
a lot
movie.
older too? Isn't he like an adult?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
And
it
then
would
the,
make
kid, the
sense.
kids are teenagers.
Oh,
Something like that. I think there's 2 kids.
the one's like a teen and the other one's like
I don't.
half adult.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't fucking know. It's a very
It's
forgettable
awful.
movie.
I
It's
don't know why
not.
they made it.
It's not good.
Okay, let's go to Scorpion King. Fuck it. We'll talk about
The Scorpion
something
King better
something
than
really
3.
good.
I actually I enjoyed the Scorpion King when it came out. It was just
When it came out, yes, I agree with that. I do like The Rock. He is a very charismatic guy.
I liked it because I was in the era when you have the Troy or whatever.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then Alexander the Great. Those
Yeah.
type of movies. Like, yeah, I like this shit. But now I just look back and I'm like,
It's so
whoa.
bad. It's so bad.
Damn.
Oh
Kid
god.
Self has shit taste.
Well, Kid Self is just like, wow, action scenes,
Yeah. Ooh.
sandals.
Sandlord. Yeah, that's what I thought. I'm like, big dude with big sword. He swing hard.
The fucking biggest monkey brain.
Pretty much. It's that the movie starts over the top with too, with all the fucking like he fights the whole fucking army to save his brother.
Yeah, something like
I don't
that.
know if it's like legit brother or family,
Yeah,
blood
yeah.
brother. But I'm like, damn, he just fucking murked like a fucking army by himself. And then he gets hired like right away. I think is how it like basically begins.
I don't remember. Oh, I remember he has to kill like a sorceress, right?
Yeah.
But then he fucks the sorceress. That's what I remember of this movie.
Well, that's the overarching plot of the movie. Yeah, because the whole town's being killed by this army from the king, I guess. I don't even know where we're at this point in these movies, like location wise.
Well, I mean, the big city, I think, is like Sodom. I don't know. It's some city.
Gomorrah.
Oh, it's
Is it Gomorrah?
Gomorrah.
Well, that was the first one.
Yeah, it's the first one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about. The first Scorpion.
Yeah, the first Scorpion King.
So I
Right,
just
so
don't
it's
know where we
Gomorrah,
are at this point.
Which
'cause
is
there's-
in Judea,
Something like that. Somewhere there.
right?
Sure, I don't
It's
know.
not Egypt.
No, because it's not like pure sand anymore, and fucking.
It's rocky.
Yeah,
Didn't
it
angels
changes.
obliterate that city anyway, according to certain book?
Yes.
Yeah, but this is before
This is
that.
This is before. This is the prequel. Before hellfire and damnation rained down.
Oh god.
I have nothing written for this movie.
A lot.
It was entertaining.
It was entertaining.
The story was meh
The
and
story was
forgettable.
bad. Because when I have dumb action movie, weird to see The Rock weak. I like the comedy
You
guy.
mean small rock.
Small rock.
He's
He
weak.
was a pebble.
He's weak. Then comedy guy and The Rock. Everyone else in this movie were ass.
Wasn't there a fight scene on like a rooftop or something like that?
I don't know.
I don't
I can't.
remember.
I blanked out most of
Would
the
you
movie.
That's just all I remember this movie.
All I remember
like,
is just like ding ding,
Yeah.
and it's like people talking. Ding ding. I'm like,
yeah, I just remember
yeah.
action. I remember he had to kill Sorceress. I remember he
fucked
fucked Sorceress. And
she
then
still had her powers, kind of.
yeah, and then there's the final act, and then
Yeah.
I don't remember what happens.
Because I remember he tries to kill him the first time, but he decides instead of killing him, saves the kid's arm
Yeah.
for some fucking reason. That would have just ended the whole movie if he killed him and the kid loses his arm. Oh well, you just saved the whole goddamn village and the kid loses his arm. Whoops.
Whoops.
But no, he saves his arm. They go back. He meets whoever the other leader was, the really big black guy.
I think his brother died anyway.
oh, Michael Clark Duncan's in that
Michael
movie.
Clark, yeah, that's who it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I forgot he was in that movie.
Because I'm like, I like this guy
Yeah.
too. They have an argument. They fight. They're like, okay, we can be cool now, and we'll go fight the big army. And then he kills the main guy, and the movie ends. And you're like,
Doesn't he become like King of Gomorrah or something like that? That's why he's the
Becomes
Scorpion
I don't
King.
remember. He becomes Scorpion King. That's all I remember.
Yeah, he becomes like the King of Gomorrah or some shit like that.
It's like, ugh.
So is this before he sold his soul to the Scorpion King?
I guess. Or to Anubis.
I
Yeah.
had
To a newbie?
No,
A
for
newbie.
a newbie. To my friend the newbie over here. I don't know. I don't know where this fucking movie lines up in the timeline. I'm just like, okay.
Who the fuck? Some producer like saw the Mummy too. I'm like, that should have her own standalone.
No.
movie.
What they saw was the first 10 minutes of the Mummy 2, and they're like, this movie's God tier. Let's take The Rock.
And let's do that.
Yeah. And then, I think I gave it a 4.
So what the fuck is 2 and 3 about?
Okay, so
Does it still have the Rock?
No.
no. So,
What?
so 2 I wrote a lot about because this movie's really ass. So the voices in this movie sound ADR the whole way through.
Oof.
Like, it's really bad. And you're like, I'm watching, I'm like, I Googled, why does the Scorpion 2 sound,
ADR.
and then, no, and then it pops up the thing, it's like, ass, weird, not good. And I'm like, I clicked on it and it just showed me cast stuff. And I'm like, thanks, cool, good. But it sounded horrible. Then you have like weird fight scenes that are just all fucking in slow motion. So it's like a punch and then it would be like a quick punch, slow down,
Oh
hits,
my God.
and then stops again. This is why I have jujitsu fucking written down. This movie, I think jujitsu's fight scenes
We're better?
are way better,
Oh,
and
no.
the actors are better in this movie. Actors are better in jujitsu than in this movie.
it's like
'Cause it's like they hired fucking
You didn't pay to watch this movie, right?
no. They hired kids that could fight,
Uh-huh.
but they couldn't act,
Did you go
and
to
they
a
couldn't
fuck-
fight.
They went to a fucking like karate studio and like, hey, you know how to do the thing.
Yeah, because this movie starts off where you see all the people training to become Scorpion fighters because they're, I guess, like a whole rank of Scorpion now. So what they do is they'll fight each other, and then like the top 5, I guess, go to this place, and they're gone for like 6 months,
Uh-huh.
and then they come back all buff. Or sorry, 6 years, and they come back all buff and strong, and now they're the leader or like the head fighting force. But what happened was there's this other guy that found out that it was like a girl was there, and he got pissed off, so he was gonna like beat the shit out of one of them.
Mm-hmm.
And instead of beating the shit out of him, the king comes out and he's like, "Don't touch them. You can send him to the rankings." 'Cause, I don't know, because he like beat the shit out of 2 other guys while he was trying to escape the execution, basically. And they're like, okay, he's like, fuck you. And he ends up using his scorpion powers to send scorpions to his father and kills him with his scorpion powers.
They have scorpion powers?
I guess so.
What?
Like The Witcher when they drink the power potion and their eyes go black?
Same
That's
thing?
the same thing. His eyes went black and he went,
Wait. So you tell me they train, they go to a
No,
place
no,
for
no.
6 years.
No,
They
this
come
guy,
back-
This guy has it. Not
Oh,
all of them.
oh.
He has like magic powers. He sends scorpions, and then he comes back, and he's like, "You killed my father!" And he throws a fucking spear at him, and the guy's like, "Oh no!" And it stops right here.
What did he fucking just go be like? hello, my name is Inigo Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to die.
So what happens is
Egyptian version.
so he comes back. He's like, "You look familiar." He's like, "Oh, you don't know me." And the guard's like, "Oh, you're his son." He's like, "Oh, I remember you." And you're like, "Come
Martha.
back, yeah, come back later." And he's
Come
like,
back later
Yeah.
after he tried to kill him.
no, this is before that. He's like,
oh.
"Come back later," and he brings his friend. I guess he was stealing because this is Egypt or wherever they're at this point. And you're like, "You have to execute him," and he's like, "Fuck you! You killed my father." He throws a spear, uses his back scorpion powers to stop the fucking spear from killing him.
What you're telling me is he's a shitty desert witcher.
Pretty much. So he runs off with his friend. He goes to some fucking shitty ass temple to fucking get some sword. These swords are like, go to the dollar store, go get some fucking silver spray paint.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
All the people look into the camera in this movie too.
No.
Like, there's like background and the kids, they're like panning across all these fighters, and you see the kids in the background just like dead panning the camera as it moves. I'm like, oh my god. But anyway, so he goes to get this magic sword that will boost his powers.
MacGuffin.
But he has to fight this scorpion queen? No.
Scorpion Queen.
Yeah, because so she gave the powers to him for some fucking reason. Blew him or something. I don't know. So he gets those powers. He gets the sword. He runs back. She goes to tell the Scorpion King at that time that he's going to be killed by this guy.
So The Rock isn't the only Scorpion King.
No. They come back and
Lame.
and she's like, she gives him more powers. Basically turns him into he's about to lose and he turns into a scorpion. This is where this really shitty CG comes in. So it's a really bad scorpion CG, and then they turn it invisible. So he's fighting, half the time he's fighting something that's not there. Like he's just swinging, and it's like, you can see like things explode behind him because he's being attacked, but you can't see him. But every time he hits it, like you remember in Halo, you see the outline of something for like a half a second? That's what it was.
Oh my god.
Is this like? I'm trying to picture the level of CG. Is this like Mortal Kombat 2, like CG?
Worse.
You can be worse.
You can be worse.
You can be worse than Mortal Kombat 2.
So anyway, he kills him, and I give this movie. This is the first time I've ever ranked something this low. A 0. A 0 out of 10.
I'm sure you're giving someone a negative score one time.
No, this is probably the worst movie I've seen in like the longest time.
Does number 3 get worse or better?
Better.
What?
So number 3, I don't think I've.
Is it the same with the same people?
No, way different. Different people.
So your standalone movies.
Yeah.
Well, no. So it ends where there's something supposed to happen in the next movie. But it doesn't. They just fucking end it, and they're like, we're going to get a good cast.
They're like, this didn't happen.
Because they have Eddie's favorite Hellboy actor.
It's Ron Perlman.
Ron Perlman.
What?
And it has, what was his name? I said it yesterday. Kimbo Slice is also in this movie. So your favorite guy.
Isn't Batista also in this movie?
Oh, Batista's also in this
What?
movie. Where they get all these, because Kimbo and Batista are like the gods they bring back to fight this army. This movie's actually pretty funny because they hire, I don't know who these other actors are, but they're pretty funny. But I don't know where they are again. They moved to another country, I'm guessing, because there's now ninjas. A ninja army.
In Egypt.
I don't know. I have no clue anymore.
There's no sand.
I think there's some sand, but it's more like palm tree, I think. I picture.
Okay.
It makes no fucking sense where they are. Because one part they're walking through a desert, next thing they're in like a forest.
Okay.
And they find fucking like a ninja encampment. They're like, you have to help us save our queen. And you're like, what the fuck?
Ninjas saving queens.
I mean,
It's so bad.
I mean, it's just like the mental gymnastics you have to do, right, to make this work in your head. You're like,
Because it starts off with Ron Perlman. He's another king. The same usual movie. Kings are fucking dying, whatever. So he hires these two guys to go fucking save this queen, which ends up being this ninja fucking people.
I was gonna say something, but never mind.
And then, oh my god! So
When I hear queen, my brain goes somewhere else. No.
Ah, damn it.
Queen, the group.
No.
Oh, okay.
Especially in the context of this movie
Anyway,
or these movies.
So the movie basically has like these. It's like a big white dude that's probably like Scandinavian, supposedly, or some fucking thing. I don't know where he came from.
So he's like the Scotsman in Samurai Jack.
Sure, he came there because he wanted money. And he
Like the
couldn't-
Scotsman in Samurai Jack.
Sure. Anyway, so they obviously it's like a buddy cop movie. This whole fucking movie. They have issues like blah blah blah. I'm stronger, and they're fucking like whacking each other.
Oh
Like the
my
first scene
God.
or second scene, you see them together. They're like, I can do this by myself, and they start fighting. And this fucking the raiders come and they're like, give us your gold, and they're fucking slapping each other while the guys are being like held up, and they're like, they don't even care about us. And they just fucking steal the 2 fucking donkeys and camels or whatever they were at this point. And they're like, man, that was the easiest robbery we've ever done. You're like, the fuck is this movie?
It's a buddy cop movie
Yeah.
in ancient times.
Yeah, pretty much.
Jesus.
Lord.
They fight for money. There's ninjas. I don't know what's happening at this point.
How does it end?
So the bad guys summon these 3 gods, which is one chick, which I don't remember her name, Dave Bautista and Kimbo Slice. And then you got these 2 guys that are like, we're going to save everyone because they're badass fighters. And they start fighting these gods. They get their asses kind of kicked. Something else happens.
The end.
Yeah. I think they killed him, and that's how the movie ends. And I'm just like, okay. I said the movie's better than the second one. I give it a 4. It just had a better cast, which just made things better.
Yeah. Whoo.
And then there's another one which I didn't get to watch.
There's a Scorpion King 4?
Yeah,
Oh,
the book
is there-
one.
is
I
there
didn't get
the-
to watch.
Is the
2018.
reboot?
Yeah. Is that what it is?
I think so.
Oh god.
It came out 2-3 years ago.
Came out after the newest Mummy movie. Mm-hmm. So if someone wants to talk about that, I have literally nothing written for this movie.
For the Mummy. It was
2017.
It was awful.
It was bad.
Wish I didn't watch it.
It's better than one of the movies I've seen so far.
I mean, you have to think about like the budget of like this big Hollywood like
You have
tent
fucking
pole
Tom Cruise.
film. And
Tom Cruise.
I know tent pole film against the straight to DVD thing that you're thinking of. But I mean, this movie's just bad. It's just like there's no.
The casting was bad too. The story was
Yeah.
bad.
I think the only thing that was decent was the visual effects.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
we're in 2017 and everything's, I'd say, doubled since 08.
I
Yep.
feel like they try to make this movie at Mission Impossible with mummies.
Well, that's what you get when
Oh,
you have
yeah.
Tom Cruise, right?
Well,
Tom Cruise is
that-
like, I ain't gonna do a movie unless I got to do some crazy ass stunts.
I also think adding like the Dooku, the Dark Cinematic Universe, does not help this movie at all. Like, yeah, that's what it's called.
It reminds me of the Star Wars guy.
Count Dooku.
who was the mummy in the 1956
Oh
movie?
my God. Flip the table. It's over,
It all
guys.
comes around.
This is our
It's
last
a
episode.
it's a reference. Big brain.
Anyway, this movie's just bad.
Yeah,
Like
it's
fucking
horrible.
adding Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde was like just worthless. Made no sense to the movie in my mind.
Well, because the problem is right. Like, I mean, this is the movie. It suffers from, hey, we're gonna copy the Avengers model without copying the Avengers model to make
It
franchises.
sounds like DC did the same thing at one point.
I know, right? And that's what this movie is. Like, instead of like, it's almost like people forget that before there was the Avengers, it was just fucking Iron Man.
There's like 16 other movies.
Yeah. Well, like, because it didn't start really, building in steam until like Incredible Hulk. And,
Yeah.
When you started getting references, and then you started getting the oh shit. But it was just Iron Man.
Well, I think the problem is they had the legwork done in their mind. Because
Yeah.
who doesn't know the Mummy? Who doesn't know fucking Invisible Man or fucking probably Dracula at some point? Whoever is going to be in this fucking bullshit movie.
I mean, I don't know. Who knows? Look at Bob. He hasn't seen any of those movies.
Yeah, but he's stupid.
But I mean, it's like, you would think so, but you have to, like, there has to be the understanding that the only way you get a franchise is if the first film is solid on its own.
Yeah. The
Like,
first
like-
film was solid on its own.
It's all garbage.
Are you saying The Mummy 2008 was garbage?
But
Give
that's
it
not.
an
But
8.
that's not what they're building off of here, though. I mean, like
They're building off of nothing.
because
if you want to go
no, that's what I'm saying. Because this
reason.
movie's supposed to be the first one
No.
in this
No,
Dark
no,
Universe franchise, and this is the movie that has to be solid.
Yeah.
It's like if you look back, like Iron Man is a solid movie
Yeah.
before any of the extra shit came, and so like if you want to start a franchise like this, that first one has to be solid,
Yeah.
and then you can start in like if Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde was like fuck the after credits or some bullshit at the
That would've been
sure
fine,
that'd have been fine.
That's what I thought.
And if you focused on what this movie was gonna be,
Yeah.
then it probably might have done better than what it did. But it tried to shoehorn this like universe before caring about anything else. It
was
just
more
comes
of a
out garbage.
Setup movie instead of just a mummy movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like it's like the mummy is inconsequential. The mummy is just like this is a monster just here because you know the name, you know what it is, but we have bigger fish to fry later, right? Like cuz you're not here for them. Because their thought process is like you're not here for the mummy, you're here for we're going to do fucking Dracula later or we're going to do I don't know, the Wolfman or the creature from the Black Lagoon because there's all these references in this film. But that's just like such a disservice to everything else. And I mean, I don't know. I feel like it loses. I feel like these movies lose so much of its charm when it's like taken out of its prime time period.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it just there's something about it where it becomes weirder.
I don't know how I feel about a mummy movie in London.
I mean, if you were gonna pick a city, that was probably your best one because it's not like England. Took
all the shit.
Yeah, all the shit from Egypt.
You like your history? It's mine now.
2 out of 10. Needed more sand.
That's what I wrote. 2 out of 10.
That needed more sense.
I give this movie a 2.
Yep. I mean, it's higher than the 0, right?
True.
So I said this is better than the one movie I saw.
How did they get so much mercury in this fucking movie? Well, not like actual
I don't-
mercury, but like in just the
bootleg
scenario.
mercury?
Yeah, like
Because he was a doctor, and doctors need that.
doctors need
Mercury.
Yeah,
Mercury.
Thousands of
I mean,
pounds of it.
I mean,
Liquid
technically,
form.
if he's Dr. Jekyll, right, which means he's been living since the Victorian age. I mean, they did use mercury pills to cure syphilis. Syphilis.
Yeah, when you kill someone with mercury, it cures everything.
You either go insane from the mercury, you go insane from the syphilis. That's what
It's a win-win. Win-win.
One of my favorite tidbits of history. But that's where he got it all from. It's all the extra mercury pills he didn't use from that time
He's like,
period.
it didn't work. We're just gonna fucking jam it in her body. Garbage
Where the Egyptians get all that mercury? Where do you get mercury? Where does mercury come from?
from the planet. What?
Where does it come from? Isn't like in our core or whatever?
It's probably
know.
it's probably a mind material because it is a solid.
It's
Look it
weird.
up,
It's a liquid. It's a and it's
Well, I guess
in its
both.
base form. It's
base
liquid.
Form, yeah, here is liquid.
Yeah, at room temperature,
Yeah.
it's a liquid.
Yeah.
I-
I don't know where do you get half the chemicals that we find nowadays. I don't understand how people fucking bottle oxygen. It's like, what the fuck? It's like, hey guys, I got my bottle of oxygen here. Let me just breathe it in.
I mean, oxygen you can get from electrolysis in water, but
Well, yeah.
that one makes a little bit more sense
But it's still
with modern technology.
It's
But
still like, what the fuck?
I know, but I mean, it's like where did Egypt get like all this mercury from? Because it's funny because when you think about like ideas of tombs and stuff, I mean, there is a legend of a tomb that had mercury in it,
Yeah.
which is actually the one that's in Mummy 3.
Oh, no way.
Because the tomb of that guy it was said there was like a map of China and the rivers had mercury and but it's still not like a giant pool full of this liquid metal, which somehow stops this mummy from killing everything.
What'd you find out?
Bullshit. Oh, where it comes from?
Yeah.
Earth's crust, volcanoes.
So
After,
it's
it's a
probably place-
byproduct of coal.
Oh,
Okay.
Yeah, that's probably mostly where you get it then. So you're telling me fucking Dr. Jekyll is a fucking coal farmer? Like, he's a fucking mine nose. He's like, I found some fucking mercury.
Yeah.
Or jam it inside.
Mr. Hyde is the miner.
Yeah, that's it. Fucking God, it's so garbage.
Had a shitty reference to the first mummy. Well, not the
Okay,
first. I
okay.
guess.
So this is my question, right? If it is a reference to that first one, right?
Are you gonna ask if it's a fucking reboot or a fucking sequel?
No.
Garbage.
Why is it the Gold Book?
Why not?
Why not the Dead Book?
Because in the first movie,
Yeah.
like in this movie,
Yeah.
the Gold Book falls in the gooey voodoo water, and then the whole place collapses.
Oh, that's right.
But that's why it's alive, because it falls in the gooey voodoo water. Aunt Jemima's fucking stuff back there. That's why it didn't
that was
disappear.
mercury, not voodoo Aunt Jemima sauce.
But isn't mercury also like at room temperature? Like, isn't it boiling or freezing?
No, well, it's not freezing. I mean, it's just a liquid. It's just in a liquid state.
So you can put
It's
my
like
hand
water.
in-
It's like what water is at room temperature, right? Unless you raise or lower the temperature.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just can't remember.
It's weird because it's like a solid, but it's also a liquid. But it is liquid
Well,
in its base state. It's the only metal that's liquid at room temperature, where you don't have to superheat it to get to that point. Yeah.
Anyway, fuck these movies. Fuck you for making me watch shitty movies for my birthday. All of them were garbage. Worst franchise.
Oh, that's hurtful.
I hope Brendan Fraser just reboots them.
I hope he does something else. I don't think Brendan Fraser in his condition as he is in is.
His kids take off his mantle. His kids, and he's just kind of there as a cameo.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. I can deal with that.
What is this, like the new Indiana Jones series now?
Yeah.
That would have been so much better. Tilted by these movies. Watch so much garbage.
What else you watched? You got news or what?
Well, a few things I want to talk about. Video game. I watch because I don't play video games anymore.
The Mummy?
No,
Video game?
no. Ooh, I think I had that when I was a kid.
Shit.
But anyway, was 12 minutes.
You
12
played
minutes.
it?
No, I watched the whole playthrough. It's a really good game for what its story
I've heard
is.
it's really good.
I'd recommend at least watching it. I
That's
don't
pretty
know.
good voice actors.
Yeah.
It does.
I feel like the voice isn't what carries this game. It's the story. The story is really good. For the 12 minutes, it's basically just a repeating segment of 12 minutes. And even if you do right stuff, but if you take too long and when 12 minutes hits, he just resets. And like he knows every time he resets and everything. It's kind of weird though.
So then you have to self-reset sometimes so you can move the story forward.
Well, yeah, you can. But there's just parts where he's like, oh, I'm doing the right thing. Took too long. It reset.
Oof.
And you're like, oh, fuck. So there's like certain parts where you kind of speed run it and stuff. But it's basically just it's a mental game where I guess he's basically fucking his half-sister and he doesn't know it.
Spoilers.
It's like something you learn really quickly, but it's just kind of weird because
They're half sisters. I mean siblings.
yeah, they're still siblings, but it's something that no one knew because it was like a weird. His father fucked the nanny, which was his mother, and they're both related because the father.
I was
basically.
gonna ask them, why does she get arrested?
Don't
Don't
I
tell me.
think this is one of those things that's just like I feel this is one of the things you should just go
go watch.
and
Or
go watch or go play. Yeah.
It's only
Go play
what,
if you
like
can afford
$20.
I hope it is. It's because I watched.
Short.
I watched Sneaky play, and he's sorry,
Sneaky.
Sneaky, but you weren't the smartest. He kind of redid a lot of the same thing. Like, do something different. It took him 4 hours to get one of the 3 endings, and
Fuck.
most of the endings you can get 2 of them in one playthrough, and then one you'd have to redo the whole thing, which you could probably do in 20 minutes.
Especially knowing.
Yeah, once you know how to get to certain areas, it's like really quick. But I think it's just from what I watched, was a really good game.
I mean, it's just so cool what you can do narratively with like a video game format.
Something like that.
Yeah,
too.
especially something like that with like time travel. Because I almost feel like it's what it is. It's almost like an interactive film in its own like weird way, right?
It's weirdly, it's a point and click. So it's like going back to the old school type
Like-
games
like
where
Myst.
Yeah, it's like there's a knife here. You can use as keys. You can use all different things. You can hide, lock the door. There's all different types of ways to get around certain things. It's just interesting. Good game. And then
And it has Willem Dafoe
somebody else.
and James McAvoy, which I couldn't remember yesterday,
Yeah.
and Daisy Ridley.
Yep.
What?
Yeah.
This is
There's only 3 voices. There's 4
This is an
3
interactive
voices.
film.
Yeah. There's 3 voices in this game, and they're all big names.
Nice.
And then I guess we all watched The Witcher.
the Nightmare of the Wolf.
Yeah, whatever.
It's a prequel.
It is a prequel.
I thought it was Castlevania.
Pretty much. I thought it was the same fucking company, but it's the people who made Korra and something else. I can't remember what it was, but I would fuck her.
Yeah.
But I think this is a really good prequel. I said the first time watching it, I didn't think it was like I didn't know where it was in the timeline because I didn't think about who the main character like you did. It was like, oh, I know who this is. I'm like, I didn't realize until the end who they said. I'm like, oh, I understand now where we are in somewhat of the timeline. Like,
I figured it out halfway through.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know what this was, right?
Yeah.
And then I watched
until the end. I'm like, oh.
halfway through. I was like, what the fuck? I know who this is.
I don't know names because names are useless to me. So I was just like, it's fucking some guy's name. And then towards the end, I'm like, oh, okay. He makes sense. So.
Yeah.
But I just thought this movie was great. The animation was just clean.
It's really good.
Real good.
It's really good.
Because I feel like the movie ramped up. Like the beginning was a little slow, and you still had some good fight scenes that weren't like beautifully animated. They were good, and
they were
then
saving their budget.
Basically, because you do get a lot of weird backstory segments. It'd be like future segment of the backstory, future segment, and then just fucking rampage.
Yeah.
I mean, it does the Castlevania thing, right? It's like what Castlevania did. It started off a little slower, and it just kept escalating until we got this last season.
Because I also like that they can show off more. Like, he had fucking this blue power, which was basically force power, I'm guessing. I don't know what it was. And then he had the fire that you could see. You can't really do that with the live action. I mean, which is worrisome about the next thing.
It's hard to do it.
Well,
I mean, you can, right?
But it's not going to be clean like you can with animation.
With the budget they have, who knows, right? But still.
Yeah, but even now, CG's, it's really good, but it's still awkward. But I don't know. I think how they could show all the monsters and stuff was nice. But I had really no issues with this movie.
No, it was fun. It was a good movie. I enjoyed it quite a bit.
Yeah, I liked all the characters.
I'm not going to lie. When we started, I thought it was a series. I didn't think it was a movie.
I thought it was a series.
I thought it was going to be a series.
Yeah.
And I clicked on it. It's like hour and a half. I'm like, damn.
Well, I didn't even look at the time. It's like you started playing, and I'm like, there's been no end credits.
No opening music either.
I'm just like, this is a really long episode.
Someone argue this is a first episode's an hour and a half. I can't wait for the second one.
Well, it's funny because it's like, this is really long. Why is it? I thought this was and then I'm like, and then it hit me. I'm like, oh, this is probably a movie. Yeah.
It's very depressing that it was a movie. I wish it was a TV. Like, I don't feel like you could add too much more to what happened.
I think it was really good for what it was.
Yeah.
Like it's just very entertaining, and I do appreciate now that we're getting like all these like animation kind of like projects. Yeah. And it's just so now, like Blood of Zeus was great, and then Castlevania will have the spin-off. I mean, this was really good for The Witcher. And I feel like, especially when they're doing things like this, because I know there's other stuff that they're doing, but it's all like CG, super,
Stop the CG bullshit.
We have all these great fucking animations.
Because I know there's
at this point.
There's going to be like a Blade Runner series, but it's like CG, and I hate it. I hate it so much. No. But... because I don't know, I don't think it almost ever looks good unless you reach like. Did you guys ever watch Final Fantasy VII: Advent Children?
The last movie from the mid 2000s.
That's the one I'm thinking of.
Okay, because there's Spirits Within.
No, that's the one we're thinking of.
The Spirits Within is that really shitty one that has nothing to do with Final Fantasy.
That's the one I know. I've seen.
No, Advent Children is like you know the. Like, when you play Smash, the Cloud skin where he has the extra shit? That's from that movie. Or the Sephiroth skin, it's from that. That one looks really good. That's a really good looking movie for being like a CG fest. Yeah. And I feel like unless you reach like those levels of like what you're doing with it, it just doesn't. You get like that Resident Evil show that we watched. Yeah.
So bad. I said this had CG in it. It wasn't horrible.
No.
There's certain scenes you could tell were CG'd. Like it was like that weird CG laid with the 2D.
No, yeah.
Was,
I mean,
dealt with.
I mean, Castlevania does like the same thing in places, right? I mean,
where you kind of have to in certain. moments.
It makes animation easier from like a 3D like mobility of something.
You can move shit.
Yeah, and it becomes simpler because you just have to, all you have to do is take the 3D model and rig it to do whatever it needs to do, right?
Yeah.
Instead of animating every
Or if
frame.
you want to add like 300,000 people fighting, it's easier to do a whole army in
Copy
CG,
and paste.
Change his face a little, and we're good.
So I mean, it's one of those things. But I felt like for the most part, like the CG was tastefully used, and I feel like the battle scenes were really well choreographed and everything and filmed, and like it's just good. It's just really good, and I'm super excited to see more animated projects like this, especially from the Western sphere, because obviously on the Eastern side you see things like this common, but it's nice to see that influence seeping into like Western animation.
I do want to say I think the witch fight scene is probably one of the best fight scenes I've seen in the longest time. Where he was fucking like teleporting through shit. I'm like, this is really clean.
It's good.
Real good.
It's good.
I think this is a masterpiece. It's a 9 out of 10.
Cool. I was gonna give it an 8, but hell yeah.
8.5.
8.5.
My monkey brain is like, action scenes.
Action scenes.
Yeah, people dying. Yeah.
I said the story was pretty good.
Yeah, it's fine. It was good.
Yeah. Is that any good best gilf? I never thought a 70 year old girl is hot. I'm like,
Best
Like
gilf.
it turns around, like, would you fuck her? Like,
she seems cool.
But I guess I got one. We haven't done it in a while. What my mom is watching.
What my mom's watching.
So she let's see. I got so much on here. I don't know if I talked about it, but she watched Demon Slayer. She watched on Adult Swim, so she did watch the English version.
the whole show?
Yeah.
Damn.
She liked it. And I was telling her that she has to watch the movie that's on
Funimation.
She's like, I'll watch that. And she's like, she likes the family dynamic and how they did with like Nezuko and the brain
Oh,
washing.
the family dynamic. They died.
Yeah. But she loved that part. She was like, yes, this is definitely the family. Beautiful. But yeah, that's what she's watching.
Damn, my son isn't a demon slayer.
True. Anyway, next week I don't know what we're watching. We'll figure it out.
We'll figure out what we're doing.
But
Some random.
I'm so happy this was my birthday episode.
Hey.
He watched the
Fuck the mummies. All the mummies can go die and then come back to life because that's what the mummies do.
All of them? Even the very first one?
Yeah, the very first one, the 1920s.
1857.
1932.
Anyway, so, check us out. Instagram, Twitter, sticker store
Buy
up
their
top.
stickers. Do it.
And then,
Support our show.
yeah.
By buying our stickers.
Well, see you next time. Oh, we're on every podcasting and on YouTube if you're listening to this, if you want to see our faces. See you next time.
See ya.